variety of champions get picked. So once again, guys, this will be the predetermined map, which will be Blood Run. So Hell goes in for Nyx first. A very safe pick, a very consistent pick in duel. Speaking of consistent, doesn't get more consistent than Ranger and Nyx together. Hell's final two champions.
They're like the best friends composition. Yeah,
Speaking of which,
see what I mean? And it's going to be Clutch. How about Sephis? Oh dear, this right here is the meta at the moment, it seems. Because this composition of three exactly, normally it's kind of like a mix of a few, but this is probably one of, if not the most efficient team comp you can have. I told you. It has everything.
Anarchy's old and busted. Clutch is new hotness. It's as simple as that.
But this is a composition that just ticks all the boxes. You have the jack of all trades Ranger, who's got a decent health pool, good mobility. The passive is so useful for getting around.
And the Dire Orb on this map is almost unrivaled in its usefulness for getting him where he wants to be. Because the middle is such a focus point for that map, where he can go from the bottom and go up to heavy armor if he wants to, without having to rocket jump. That's the important thing. Sometimes you have to either use a nail jump or a rocket jump to get the heavy armor. So to get the heavy armor, you're taking damage. If it's likely that an opponent is waiting for you to take it and you're trying to get in and out as fast as possible, you've already done a little bit of damage to yourself to take it. If you've got the Dire Orb, you don't have to do that.
This is one of the most reliable compositions, I think, in the game also, because these three champions are good on basically every map, it seems.
I can't really think of a map where they don't work well together. They've got mobility, they've got damage, they've got utility. I mean, they have it all.
Oh wow, Hell, make that good read. His only weapon for fighting here is the railgun, though, so he doesn't have anything better. Now he's got the rocket.
I think Hell was just completely content waiting out the shield and then acknowledging that he's just more stacked up than Sephis is at this point in time. That's the Mega. The next fight's going to be for the heavy armor, but Sephis took a lot of damage trying to get it. We talk about how much of a risk it can be going for heavy armor. Well, how about almost all of your damage? You'd never have guessed Sephis picked it up by looking at his stats.
Sephis has already taken so much damage. It's just his ability to top himself up immediately has been amazing. Just keeping himself alive. We know that stuff's going to be up very soon, though. Oh.
Surprisingly, even though we've seen a great amount of damage come out of Hell, we are yet to see a single frag. Hasn't been able to quite finish one just yet.
That's Clutch, man. When Clutch is fully stacked, it takes a lot to bring him down. Oh, and Hell's found him. Nowhere to run now. Barrier's popped.
He's on top of him with his own barrier. This is madness. Oh, the rail missed ever so slightly. On the flip side now, Sephis is the one that has a little bit more health, but I'm not even sure if he knows it. They've exchanged to be quite even. They trade rails again, but this time Sephis has not got the health to take it. Hell with the Mega is more than he needs to win that exchange.
It's like a raid boss. Look at how much damage Hell had to put out of this 1 minute 45. It's almost been non-stop damage to Sephis, but Sephis has just been keeping himself alive constantly.
Down to that Ranger pick. So in this instance, Hell is going to have that bully style that we know Clutch can do really well. Against another Clutch, it can be a little bit hard because of how much health and, you know, elements of invincibility with the shield that Clutch himself has. But if it's Clutch versus someone that doesn't have that amount of defensive tools, then...
Oh. A bit of a pause, but going to be able to pick it up anyway.
Oh, yeah, he got hit right before the teleporter come through, so a little bit of free damage for Sephis.
Already halfway through this in terms of time. That barrier's popped. Does he have Dire Orb to get away? Does he even need it? Oh, the detonation of the Dire Orb. Hell, just standing straight on it.
I was just about... Yep.
Yeah, what?
That is a very unfortunate spawn.
I mean, they must just know you're going to spawn there. They always stand just in that doorway and look over there immediately.
There has to be an element of consistency for sure. Because that is a very consistent spawn. People get the frag, they look right there. They always spawn there. And they just take you out accordingly.
It's a very unfortunate place to die.
Sephis trying to survive a little bit longer using the Dire Orb to prevent getting railed, but cannot prevent the inevitable. Hell does manage to get a frag on the board, and just like that, they've almost completely evened out their stats. Make that extended with the heavy armor.
Every single champion these guys are playing has had its own mirror in some way, and this is no different.
Hell.
Tanked out indeed.
Indeed, I was just about to say. If it's a mirror situation and you just have more health and armor, then it's a great comfort zone to have. Sees the rails miss, so now he's going to try and push the advantage, but doesn't want to push too heavily, just in case Sephis has access to a rocket. Eating those defensive rockets with this health, even though you're fully stacked up, as Nyx, it still hurts. There's that 1 minute warning once again, the offensive invisibility.
Oh! One shot, not quite enough.
Straight through the teleporter. Going to be kind of hard for Sephis now, especially as Hell just collected that mega.
Who's going to be the first one to fall down here, though? Sephis very low. Oh, still staying around to fight. Just got the heavy armor, but isn't going to save him with that low health.
Now he's got a couple of health items. A bit risky in some ways, because we've seen, even if you've got loads of armor, if you've got no health, you'll still get one shot, but Sephis staying true. Hang on a minute, point blank. That's invisibility, is Hell using it defensively. He gets it!
Oh, dearing me! Hell.
Do you want to know why that was so sick? Before he re-emerged, he used the wall jump to give himself a double jump, so he re-emerged higher up than Sephis was looking.
Oh, smart. That was very smart.
Higher up than the line of sight. Shouts to the Caco Demon.
Little things, man. Little things like that.
Now we're back to this clutch mirror match once again.
Probably one of the most long and drawn-out mirror matches I think you can get at the moment.
Yeah.
Just down to that sheer amount of health and the amount of times you have to hit each
I'm
other.
inclined to think probably the longest.
Oh, 100 clean, that would do something, but clearly got into the health path, not much.
You know, if you hit most of the champions and you see 100 damage, you look at the top and it's really significant. With clutch, he just laughs at it. Point blank, trying to get the splash damage behind the wall. A good idea, actually, but still minuscule damage as a payout.
Yeah, but Hell knows the heavy armor's up and he just wants to bag that for sure, giving himself a bit of a lead here.
You mentioned it yourself, where we're seeing these players that are starting to use the terrain splash damage as a means to hurt Clutch instead, shooting the walls behind him. Right there is exactly what Hell just tried to do. He went straight forward, hit the wall behind, got a little bit of damage, but unfortunately not a huge amount. But the important thing is that he demonstrated that he has the knowledge to do damage outside of the shield. At the same time, that's why we saw the Dire Orb land a frag on Hell earlier on. The explosion going through the shield once again. Now Hell's in trouble, got to heal up.
Oh no, Sephis messed up the jump. He didn't get the heavy armor.
I wonder if that means Hell can get it himself.
Nah, he gets this time. I think Hell just assumed he'd got it.
Fair to assume, to be fair. It's quite a little error to make, but the opponent just isn't ready for it. It means you can almost just try again for free. Sephis with that mega also. Now he is very dangerous. That's still defense. Yep, exactly. Still defense, really keeping him way healthier than he normally would have been. Heavy armor's back, but yeah, we all just heard that get collected. Hell, particularly. Mega's about to spawn again, but it feels like also Sephis is about to collect.
You just look at how long it's actually taken Hell to stock himself back up again. Sephis is just starving him over the pickups.
Oh, a couple of good rockets, but not dedicating actually. Sephis, I feel like he might have been able to really push the advantage on that one. Got back up there, forcing the shield wall. Hell has to get away, which means Sephis is no doubt going to collect that heavy, and he does just that.
Mega health up in a few seconds too. Looks like Sephis is going to bag that as well. Yes, he does. Sephis is in complete control.
A little bit more of a timid approach coming out of Hell. He's not really fighting for any of these pickups just yet. He's kind of sort of just sit there on the sideline.
Because he hasn't actually been on full health and armor for a while. Sephis is just keeping him away from all the pickups he needs.
And at the same time, I doubt Hell wants to over-exert himself. 3 minutes and not really much has happened so far. Minuscule fights. Getting 91 damage after Mega gets collected. That's why Hell can go in, but still, not a huge amount of damage. Misses the rail, so no doubt he's going to get out of here. Oh no!
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was not looking towards the right there. Sephis lying in wait, and Hell just didn't see him.
That's just that awareness. The one time he wasn't ready to check.
It's a rail.
Oh wow, 2 rails.
But, I mean, the damage he took definitely wasn't worth getting the heavy, but Hell's accuracy has been on point since he's been at Ranger.
Wow, he was ready for him to come around the corner straight away. Is that going to be a kill? Yes, it is. Hell goes down. This might be a 1 champion victory at this rate.
Definitely
Hell
could
down
be.
on this Nyx.
20 seconds, he's going to be able to see Nyx through a Ghost Walk, so that's not going to be an escape option, even though it will be element of a survivability option. He's used it before, which means that now, when he fights Hell, Hell is going to be in big trouble if he's point blank.
Sephis just has that raw health advantage, man. It's just going to be so hard for him to get taken down.
But again, the danger isn't really having to deal with clutch point blank without Ghost Walk. The danger at this point is the 35-second clock that remains. Sephis probably going to make this a timeout, I think. 30 seconds to survive against a Nyx that you've just tagged with a rocket, and you've got a shield wall ready to go. The chance of this comeback is extremely unlikely. 20 seconds left to take out a clutch that is this stacked with a shield. I'm not sure.
15 seconds is getting less and less realistic as this clock ticks down.
Well, it's not just getting clutch, it's taking out what's left as well. Hell has to push it. There's not much else he can do here. Sephis just trying to run away, and that's going to be it. The round goes down to a timeout, and it's going to be 1-1.
There we go. All ball down to clutch, just not being able to be taken down. Even, I mean, actually, I think, if anything, it's truly reinforcing how important it is that that first frag goes your way. Because we've already seen that that's how effective Sephis can be when he's playing this champion, though. It's always a mirror at the start. It's always clutch versus clutch. So this truly is a battle of who's going to survive longer. Whose clutch has more clutch?
I knew you'd say that eventually. It was only a matter of time. But again, I think we're going to see very much so a repeat of what we just saw in that first round.
Perhaps.
The danger is that Sephis hasn't got a rail, and that is going to be a disadvantage. I wonder if Hell's going to try and control that. If he's going to try and keep Sephis off the rail for as long as possible. Those rockets. Hell gets a couple of good hits, activates the shield. A shield in retaliation, but Hell collecting the Mega. Sephis forced to retreat temporarily. He just took big damage going for that heavy armor. A big risk that Hell punished accordingly.
I mean, Hell was patient. Hell had no interest in going to pick it up himself. He just wanted to wait until Sephis made the move, and he did. Wow, good damage. Oh, another good follow-up. Still alive, though.
It's quite funny, really. The one individual tick of that blood pool actually allowed him to survive the rail if he got hit. Because it put 184 HP rather than 79. Here comes the aggressive shield wall. Hell going in once more. Reads the teleport. Actually is successful.
Oh,
No!
another fumbled rocket jump. Both players are kind of messing that up quite a lot. Oops.
There we go, gets it now. Definitely another Mega that it's likely Hell's going to be able to take uncontested. Range is pretty far away here. I think Sephis just trying to concentrate on not getting caught off guard, let alone trying to control these pickups. How fast he goes in, gets one of the rails, the teleport at the last minute to get out of there, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to retreat. Chasing it down, Hell now with a 3 champion advantage versus 1 with Nyx.
Yeah, and Hell massively struggled to make this comeback last round. Now Sephis has to do the exact same thing himself. Oh, he knows the armor just went.
But I'm not sure if he cares. If he gets the invisibility out, of which it actually is now, and he's seen her on the re-emerge, tries to go in for the telefrag. I actually respect the attempt. If he got the telefrag right there, he would have undone every ounce of health that Clutch had. That would have been an easy answer for getting rid of him.
Worth the attempt for sure, but Hell's not going to let it happen. Takes this down to round 4. If Hell can take this down, he's going to win this first map and put himself in a much more comfortable situation moving on for the rest. Now, we've already talked about how important it is to have a good start in this match so far with how this mirror seems to be getting played out.
That's the tale of this map, though.
Whoever gets the first frag ends up winning.
He who loses their clutch first will not win the round. That is the prophecy of this game.
Which would, you know, if you think about it, that exact wording would still be relevant, even if there wasn't a character called Clutch.
That's true. I agree with you.
A competitor, one must have Clutch to be a competitive player.
And that really applies in any game.
Exactly.
Right now, Hell, as long as he's sitting on all of that armor, he's going to be much more of a threat to Sephis than the other way around. even if Clutch has 100 armor combined with his default 150 health, he is still unbelievably hard to take down.
Oh! There's the interception, but Hell still has significantly more health than armor. But Sephis there with a nail gun trying to stop him.
He took a lot of damage. Goes into the air to control.
Oh,
no!
he gets knocked away! That was Sephis with the outplay.
That was unfortunate. He just got knocked a million miles away from heavy armor. And he's caught the respawn on Hell. There's no way Hell's going to teleport
But the
towards
thing is,
that
that's actually how Hell killed Sephis last game, is Clutch. You know, Sephis went for the armor, and Hell punished him for it and didn't let him pick it up. It's the exact same thing that Sephis just did to him.
Oh, gets the trail. Big damage on the LG. Hell's in a lot of trouble. Goes in for the jump pad. Away for a little bit,
Wow.
but not long enough. Initiating kill function. Absolutely.
And once again, this very dim situation for Hell to be in. Forced to make
It's
this full
just
comeback.
it's coming down to whoever loses their clutch first. If they lose clutch, then they lose the round.
Unless Hell can change the tide now, it will be difficult, but I don't want to say it's impossible.
The danger is that when you score a frag and clutch gets a major pickup, particularly a health pickup uncontested because you're too busy being dead. Like right now, he's hit a rail on Hell, and Hell is in so much danger at this stage. Anything he just collected has been undone completely. Clutch sitting on all of that. He can tank one more rail and he can still survive.
Pretty sure Hell just waited until Barry was over for him to go toward there, so that was smart.
It's definitely a matter of having to wait out certain moves, and if you can outrun and outlast that barrier, then it can be a changer.
Oh, what a shot!
Almost clipped him with that one right before Mega. Would have seen him in the middle of the invisibility. Caught him halfway through. There we go. Sephis reverses exactly what just happened to him.
Indeed, final round. We're going to go back to this clutch start. I can't imagine either of them going to have any reason to change.
It's just coming down to a matter of who gets the first frag. But when they both get the first frag, they win the round. So I think they're honestly really just trying to... I'm not going to say roll that dice, because it's a complete matter of skill. There's no luck involved here whatsoever. It's just that they're betting it on, I'm going to kill your clutch first, and that is how I'm going to win.
Which has actually reigned true for every single round so far. Whether it will continue to happen, I guess we'll find out over the next few minutes.
Oh no, Sephis did not see Hell there, but he answers back with a 100 damage rocket. And now he's going for the chase. Hell does a bunch of damage to himself.
Oh, Hell's in a desperate situation. Oh! A defensive rocket's going to chase Sephis away. Hell protecting himself.
It's now going to be risky. Going in for the kill. Sephis looking to secure it, but he himself has taken big damage. They are both vulnerable to a single rail. It's looking likely they're going to try and heal up, but Hell does manage to get the heavy. Now, big advantage for him. They're both going to have their shield wall again.
Once again, Hell sort of winning this war of attrition so far. Way more health and armor to work with. Sephis significantly less. Yeah, you can hear the heavy armors going the way of Hell once again.
And that does mean Hell's stack is looking unbelievably intimidating. Lots of armor, lots of health. And with a Mega just about to spawn, it's likely we're going to see a fight soon. I don't know if Sephis is content letting Hell stack up that consistently, but he has got an amazing read on the super nail gun. He got so many successful hits. During that sequence, he just undid a minute's worth of stack.
And just in time to bag the heavy armor, Sephis has turned the tide with that one sequence of nails. One read has made all the difference.
Very good for Sephis. He's actually completely turned the tide on this. Now he has more health. Now he has more armor. If the fight breaks out, Sephis is now the one with advantage. So one rail charged into 90 as well. That hurt a lot. Hell's in big trouble now. Especially seeing as Sephis actually not even interested in the heavy armor. He's looking to fight this right now. Hell knocks him into the air with a shield wall, though. They trade it back and forth. Hell's just trying to get out of there, but Sephis won't let him go down without a fight first. Going in for the heavy armor, does manage to take it. Hell giving it up, conceding it. I think that was quite important for Hell. He really doesn't want to overextend himself.
He's being careful, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. If he hasn't got the health or the armor to take the fight, then don't take it.
Well, if he attempted to stop Sephis from taking that at the last minute, but then Sephis grabbed it anyway, Hell was guaranteed to die.
Yeah, Sephis trying up the nails again. Didn't work this time.
Yeah, I think fool me once, right? That's going to be one of those situations where Hell does not want to fall for the same mistake twice. I mean, he had loads of health and almost died, let alone when he has no health. That will shred you with a super nail gun. Nice
oh, wow,
prediction,
good read.
rocket.
Yeah,
great
Sephis
read.
walks right into a rocket.
There's the Mega, but minimal armor so far. But it's going to be more than enough to soak up sufficient damage. The rockets failed to connect, and Hell actually beyond all of the stack that Sephis was able to build up. Hell
I think it was
to get the frag.
Sephis just really wanted to wait for Hell to, you know, almost like waste all those rockets on the barrier, but Hell was somehow managing to get through it. Sephis just wasn't able to protect himself in time. And the 1 minute warning just mere seconds away from triggering. Do you reckon Hell's just going to be careful for a minute?
I think Hell knows that, but he has actually been caught off guard in the middle. He took a bunch of damage, still with over 100 left though, so he's not completely vulnerable. With 50 seconds left to survive. Activating his shield wall. Oh wow, he just
walked into the dire orb.
I was just about to say, he walked into it. I think he was looking to maybe just react to the reappear, expecting him to go for the heavy armor and it'd catch him out, but because he didn't teleport to it, the explosion came through and just did enough damage to kill him. That may have been a fatal error if Hell decided to go through with that. He was confident he was going to teleport to it.
That's just one of those predictions, right? He was just sure he was going to teleport, but chose not to. The explosion did more than enough.
That was, to be honest, an exchange I really didn't think we'd see. I didn't expect Hell to take that risk. But of course, cannot count either of these guys out, especially Hell. He's been here many times. We've seen him plenty of times in this top 16, and you know he's wanted to make this through.
And here we go. Sudden death starts. The next frag will take the map. Whether it'll be Hell or Sephis, we'll find out in a few moments. This could be it. A little bit of damage coming through, but Sephis still very much overcharged on health and armor.
Likely to both have their abilities
Ooh.
as well.
Oh,
Couple of really good rockets now. They're trading the die rob through. Hell doesn't want to overcommit because he definitely saw that get collected. And now he's got the Mega.
Sephis timed those pickups really well, though. After taking so much damage, he still ended up fully stacked.
Yeah, if you take all that damage and then collect these major items, you pretty much just undo all the work they just put in. Now Hell is really weak. He's got to be careful here. He is one minor shot away from going out. Sudden death as well. Sephis
He's
is
merely
looking-
near a 25 pickup, too.
Hell just managed to completely slip away. No, he tried to reappear, but he wasn't able to. And Sephis, just like that, wins the first map. And I really think that came down to, yeah, that's the one. I think even Hell knows, like it wasn't a mistake, right? Like it was a mistake where he must have been just confident that Sephis was going to teleport towards that orb. But because he didn't, the orb detonated and did more than enough damage to take him out. It was definitely a mistake, but it's a mistake that he's going to know better than anyone is rectifiable, right? You got to just make sure that you just don't make those kind of mistakes in the next map, because this could be his absolute final chance.
Of course, but he's going to have his choice on the map now. What do you think we're going to see him go for? Because fundamentally, they ran the same composition. And if they do the same thing again, then obviously no map is going to greatly benefit one over the other if they have the exact same champion. So this is going to be a case of comfort. Or do we expect that Hell might prefer to play?
It will come down to the map they just think they will do better at, because you said it yourself, they've got the same team composition. They might rock the same team composition again, so you're not going to go for a team or a map that will work with yours and work against theirs, because that's not really likely to happen. The safe bet wants to just say we might see Corrupted Keep, because if people play Clutch, they're probably going to pick Corrupted Keep if they lose.
It does seem to be the go-to.
It's the running theme, but to be honest, we haven't seen a lot of, I guess, what you can consider major errors today. But the ones that we have seen have been punished quite heavily. And I think that really shows in Quake how careful you really need to be. So I'm kind of worried, it's the kind of loss that, as a player, if you lose to a fault that was made by you and not being outplayed by your opponent as such, it's quite a mental break. You've got to make sure that you shake it off. You've got to make sure that you're not thinking about it. You're focusing entirely on the next match.
I think that's just a generic statement that applies to almost every single competitive game, but because it is true and it always will be true, if you make a mistake in a competitive setting, no matter what it is, and it costs you a win, it doesn't cost you like the whole thing, but it costs you like basically puts you quite far behind. Like in this situation, that one mistake potentially could have put Hell one map down in this series. You need to be able to shake that off. You need to be able to advance and maybe not just forget about it, but know that it hasn't cost you everything and learn from that. Use that mistake to further the rest of the match for you, which I hope we see now going into this. But that's a little bit harder when it's just down to you're playing the same champions. When you have the exact same lineup in the same way, that clutch mirror at the start does seem like a bit of an endurance test. It takes a lot of fire to put clutch down, even as clutch. And obviously clutch can escape from clutch quite well. He pops barrier, you pop barrier. He chases, you run. That kind of stuff. It's very much you do the exact same thing as each other, and it takes you a long time to take the other clutch out, because it takes a long time to get you.
And he's definitely not the kind of champion that you can kind of just sort of pick off with rails bit by bit, if you both have the same health pool.
You also can't just rush him. You can't just run straight at clutch at the start of the map and go, right, well, I'm just going to get rid of you straight away, because he's probably going to outlast you and kill you.
Unless you
have a rocket and he doesn't, and he has like no weapons.
If you catch him on spawn and he has just starter weapons, but this far down the line, it seems like a very uncommon scenario that when you bump into a clutch, he's not going to have something that he needs, because when you spawn, it's quite easy to get a weapon that can benefit clutch. So you will often spawn close to a rocket launcher. And even on your default health and your default armor, if you go for a rocket launcher first, that's all you need. So if you catch clutch on a spawn and he's got a rocket launcher, you still can't press the advantage. I think he's definitely one of the strongest champions in the game, you could say at this stage. That's why we're seeing so many people use him. He plays the game in a very unique way. He can play fundamental Quake, but at the same time, he's got this really kind of out of this world, out of this norm ability that you're just not used to having to deal with. It's fully invincible. It goes hand. It keeps him alive while he's dishing out damage to you. It's offensive. It's defensive. And we've been talking about clutch loads today. It just doesn't stop becoming more relevant.
It's because he's in basically every set so far. I think bar one, maybe he wasn't in it at some point, but it seems to be that in one map somewhere down the line in a series, he's probably going to be selected. And I think a big part of that, especially for Europe, is because Sacrifice has been decided for a few weeks now. Sacrifice is kind of like, we all know what's going on there. It's given these players time to really explore clutch and get used to him. And it looks like Blood Covenant's going to be the pick. I assume we'll be seeing the same team comps back to back from both of them.
We'll see.
Looking
consistent so far. It's going to be consistent from Hell.
Oh, no.
This time, Sephis answering back with... Now, I'm actually really interested to see how this one goes, because the clutch was a game changer throughout this match. On both sides, the clutch was the most prominent champion. So now Sephis doesn't have that if it's clutch first for Hell, and now Sephis physically cannot pick a clutch first. I wonder how it's going to go. We're on Blood Covenant, so you've got Nyx and Ranger that are they can both have fantastic starts
one thing that concerns me, I should say, is Blazkowicz's inability to keep up with Hell's lineup on this map particularly.
He can't move.
Yeah, so clutch has those crazy rocket jumps, the strafe movement. There are a lot of just long straights on this that you can just build up that speed almost straight away. And a big part of the clutch mirror we saw going Sephis' way last time was just mobility and being able to tank damage. Sephis was taking loads of damage earlier in the match, but was still able to survive because of clutch's natural pull. Blazkowicz is significantly weaker and a lot less mobile, which is going to, I hope, not hurt him too badly.
Well, mobility is key on Blood Covenant. We did see that earlier on, though, with Buxter's Galena in particular. She suffers from weak movement, but on this map, and by the way, Hell just got sent miles with that rail. Part of me thought he was going to fly off the map there. Like I was saying, we saw Buxter with his Galena on this map. Now, although she couldn't move around, there was a lot of tricky places for her to plant her totems, and we saw how much work those totems will put in. Now, that's Galena. With Blazkowicz, though, it's harder to call because he's not really utility. He's not speed or agility. He is pure damage. Is he going to be able to get the clutch early?
That was a close shot for Hell, but he's going to bag the heavy armor at the very least.
Yeah, Hell was definitely at least able to bully Sephis away, and he manages to get first blood and that. Now Sephis, does he go Blaskovic or Nyx? He's going to go Nyx next. We'll see what he does.
No, I've already seen how the barrier can counter the Ghost Walk, but at the end of the day, this is Nyx. Ghost Walk used, barrier not up yet.
Going to heal up nicely though. Now the second clutch gets a hold of that heavy armor. He just became a lot harder to deal with by Nyx in particular. Got all of his major weapons. Hell has the lightning gun, rocket launcher, and railgun, so he can basically fight in any circumstance. Gets
Wow,
two of
rails.
those rails, lovely shots. Sephis forced to run.
Also means that no matter how stacked you were, that's going to mean that Nyx is very close to death. But Sephis has managed to pick up a lot of pickups on the way, so he's stocked himself back up again already.
Goes in for one prediction rocket, but there's the invisibility, but he can clearly still see him. He gets away anyway, gets the rail regardless, but so far he has landed so many good rails, but unfortunately still unable to get the frag. Sephis surviving with a slither every time. Sephis' survivability has been very well played so far. Hell's put in so much work and he's still only got one frag on the board.
I think Sephis' survivability skills are just incredible so far. His knowledge on where the pickups are and how to just instantly bring himself back up to full has been incredible. Right now, though, Hell is on the warpath looking for him. Trying to control what he can.
There's that barrier just to guarantee. Would have seen the Ghost Walk, so unlikely Sephis can get away, and there we go! Nice reactions on the re-emerge there. I feel like maybe it would have been harder to predict if Sephis wasn't seen going into that, but
I actually think Hell had the sort of last bits of his barrier up, so there's a chance he might have actually seen him as he came out.
yeah, he could have. And now it became a little bit harder for Sephis to really make a comeback because he's down to Blaskovic, but there's the shield wall.
Oh wow, forced to dual wield. But the barrier is just gonna chew it up completely. And Hell with a much more convincing first round.
Dual wield is a great answer for Clutch if he hasn't got his shield. Yeah, and that really is. It's like when he's got the shield, he beats Blaskovic, and when he hasn't got it, Blaskovic beats him. It's a matter of you just got to get the ability out first. Sephis again going back to that Ranger pick. We've already seen how useful it can be that a Dire Orb does damage through the shield. I wonder if Sephis will try and enforce that in any way. Another rail.
Ooh.
Hell's rails on this map have been on point. He's really only missed a couple.
And this map was his choice. Clearly he's comfortable with it.
Sephis fresh off the Mega, plenty of health.
Sephis already trying to be careful because he really wanted to go up. There was that hesitation. He was convinced that maybe he wasn't going to be up there, but went up anyway.
Minimal damage payout, so I think they're probably going to trade Mega for Heavy again. No, the patience there. Sephis opting to go for a rail first and then try and take the Mega.
He did manage to get it. Can't imagine he'll be coming up. No real need to.
There's that Dire Orb just to navigate, but not going towards rail. Doesn't really need to. There's the rail. Gets a couple, but not enough to land the kill. Going much more back to the classic of what we've seen already. Very, very slow paced until we see that first frag.
It makes you wonder, like, Sephis really can't start any of these fights. Hell is just always right on top of him.
Hell clocks him.
Oh, this could be a good situation for Sephis. The barrier is popped.
Yeah, when this barrier runs out and Clutch is still down there. opting to stay there. Really interested to see that Sephis didn't follow through with that. Might have expected Hell to have more health than he had left.
Or maybe he was expecting heavy armor to come up. He was like, you know, maybe that's why Hell is there waiting. But no, Hell was just there. He'd already picked it up.
Fighting near heavy armor again. And now he's going in for the barrier, trying to push the advantage, but just couldn't get the job done. Sephis using that heavy armor to tank any of the damage there, and he manages to get the frag.
Oh, it's been caught out. Only has a machine gun.
Stopwatch.
Hell again having to concede. Got a feeling we might be able to go down to a final round situation again. Although that first round was unbelievably fast.
Indeed.
Not quite sure the rest of the map will follow.
Right now we can see, again, Sephis now has a lead. Already 3 minutes down. I'm thinking with the pace this one's going, maybe we're going to go down to another 5 minute.
Well, there's 1.5 minutes left of this round and only one frag on the board again. We'll see.
Oh, Israel's not quite on the mark.
Oh, that was a great
Look at the
exchange.
damage.
100 damage and then you teleport to heavy armor. That was well played.
But Hell, though, already managed to top himself back up again. Yeah, he can catch him in the corner. That's going to work. Takes the mega health away from right under his nose. Sephis stealing that one away.
Yoink. Now it's going to be Ranger versus Ranger, but with 50 seconds left. It's hard to really... I mean, these comebacks, we haven't seen them too much today. Players are just playing simply too defensive to be cracked open easily.
It is kind of working. Sephis is probably just going to play as lame as he can for the next 35 seconds. Just keep that distance, win on that timeout, play on that champion lead. Let's not forget, he is a map up right now, so that every round he can take is going to bring him one step closer to getting to regionals and eliminating Hell from the Quake World Championship duel.
And at this stage, it's not just Ranger he needs to take out. Hell also needs to get the second champion too.
Hell kind of has to fight here, but he's choosing to go heal up. Unfortunately, kind of wasting precious time. I mean, there's very little he can do here.
There is no way. Even if Ranger goes down right now, factor in respawn times, and that's it, game over. Got the frag, but I mean, you have to factor in like roughly 5 seconds for a respawn, right? So that was it. 1-1.
Indeed. Now Hell still looking at that round, so looking okay still to tie things up. Let's not forget, this is the map that Hell picked, and he was looking very strong at the start, but Sephis just slowed it down. As soon as he got rid of Hell's clutch, he was just going at a snail's pace. Oh, wow. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, thought that barrier
That would
was
have been disastrous for Hell.
absolutely necessary, but Sephis lying in wait, lays the ambush. Another rail. Dies again, but no trade either. Hell loses his clutch immediately in the first 30 seconds.
Right, though, because that was such a quick frag, Sephis is not going to have the ability to run the clock now for the rest of this. He's going to have to maybe try and still go for this kill.
We did question the lack of clutch. Will it be different? Because the clutch was so prominent. Here comes
Oh, wow,
Hell.
yeah, Hell appears right in front of him with a super shotgun, but doesn't quite get the damage on the board. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Hell, you know he wanted to go in for some damage there. He had the right tool for the job, but the super shotgun can be difficult to land big shots sometimes.
Definitely a change of pace from the last round that we saw. He's going to try and deny. But unable to stop Sephis from taking that heavy armor.
Oh, wow, gets shot from behind. Hell, his rails have been on point, but Sephis is just healing himself up, and there's the follow-up. Wow, Sephis knocks him into the air with a follow-up kill. And there we go, match point to Sephis to move on.
It was looking so good. The change to Blood Covenant seemed to fit Hell so cleanly, but these last 2 rounds, one convincing timeout, and that was a quick round. Hell needs to be very careful. Losing his clutch this early on is going to be disastrous. It's been his star champion from start to finish. We doubted the lack of clutch from Sephis, but clearly the start with Ranger. I mean, it's on Blood Covenant, right? This map is so strong for Ranger. The mobility, the fact that Dire Orb is in some ways a direct answer to the shield. He's going to land one rail.
At the very least, you're just avoiding it. Let's not forget something that you were always kind of able to do versus Clutch, even back before the buff, was hit pop the barrier, you just die roll away.
Here comes Hell. He's been knocked into the air, getting shot from underneath. Hell is incapable of protecting the bottom.
That's kind of like worst case scenario for defending against that LG, is when you get stuck with someone who is like standing below you and just keeping you suspended in the air. This could go from bad to worse. Is Hell going to be able to get away? He's trying. Sephis in the right direction. We know Ghost Walk is down. Oh no, Hell has to make a full comeback with just Ranger.
It's gone from bad to worse. Unfortunately, he had such a good start to the map, but he's been unable to recover ever since that second round didn't work out. Sephis does fumble his Dire Orb, but with a 20-second cooldown that comes back almost instantly, it really isn't that punishing.
Hell trying to keep him away. Just picked up that mega health, doesn't want to lose it all yet. Sephis with plenty of armor to work with, almost full health.
The danger here...
Oh, nice.
The danger here is that Hell needs to make a comeback here, a 3-straight comeback, not even to win this map, but to stay in the map. And he needs to win this map to stay in the tournament and make it 1-1, let alone win the set. There is still an entire map to go if he wins. This is such a big ask. Here he comes, Sephis.
We were talking earlier about just endurance tests, right? And how you just have to play non-stop and just be concentrated the whole time. Just depending on how long some of these rounds can go. Sephis is now riding the momentum. Sephis is feeling like near the end of the line, whereas Hell still has a bit of a marathon left to run.
I fear that Hell might still be thinking about that error on Blood Run too. You know, this entire situation is because of that one mistake.
Well, maybe not directly, but, you know, starts things moving.
Well, it put the map down, right, into the map selection. Snowballing and all that, but we'll see if Hell can pull this one off. It's going to take such a high level of mental composure, but if he can do this, it will be truly remarkable.
Just going to try. Sephis, though, securing himself mega health. Oh.
Missing those rails, just by an inch. And Sephis really, he can afford to play this defensive game. He has the advantage. He can play as defensive as he likes. And that's one rail. They trade it back and forth, but still. Sephis securing the armor, making himself all the more harder to take down. There we go, 2 minutes left to take down 2 champions at a bare minimum.
Every second that ticks down is going to get more difficult for Hell for sure. It's now less than 2 minutes to go to defeat all 3 champions.
They trade LG, they're both relatively weak. The rail misses, right!
Okay.
That Dire Orb almost exploded on him as well.
This could be it though, Hell.
He needs to make something
Making
happen.
the start of it, catches him on early spawn. Ghost Walk is used, if he can make the read where she's gone.
He's got to watch out for the super shotgun! He does not really have the health to deal with a super shotgun. A minute and a half to deal with Sephis now when he's trying to play that defensive game. Sephis does not want to get caught off guard. If he wins on this timeout, he will make regionals.
1 minute and 20 left potentially in this. There's the rail, knocks Hell down. He's going to have to go get some more armor just to keep himself alive. Decides teleports to it, right in front of the rocket launcher, 11 health left. Hell has to be so careful.
Sephis was just waiting for him to teleport to it. Unfortunately, Hell did commit. Maybe he expected Sephis not to really look towards it.
No, Hell very low on health, very low on armor. Has to be super careful. We can see Sephis up there. One below. Oh, one more shot. He's going to die. Oh!
He's got to be so careful. Now he not only has to stay alive and get stacked back up, but he has 45 seconds to actually get a frag himself. This is a horrendous situation, but it is possible.
Hell has to desperately get this frag. He found him. Oh, there we go.
He gets it. The suicide combined with the point-blank rocket. Hell is still in this.
Sephis just got instantly killed. That direct and the Sephis point-blank damage to himself. Hell is still very much in this series after looking horrendously out of it.
I mean, Ranger does less damage to himself. That point-blank rocket just tickled him.
I mean,
Man
Hell
spent 20 years in the Quake world. I don't really think he cares too much about a rocket anymore.
Oh my lord, Hell. He was looking really strong earlier on, but Sephis has just started to really command the pace of this bit in this final round after Hell being down swiftly 2 frags. He is dragging this comeback back into the match.
He's going to drag this map in his favor, kicking and screaming if he wants to take this, but it's definitely possible.
5-minute warning.
Okay, we are now in overtime. Sudden death.
And now he actually has a much healthier stack above Sephis at this point, but Sephis with the dual wield, that's the danger. All Sephis needs is one lightning gun and a respectable stack, and he can delete basically any champion in the game.
I mean, if Hell can make this happen, if he can start this comeback, win this round, and then win the next, and then take us to a map 3, can you imagine the momentum people going in with? But he's stuck, he's got the heavy armor. Yep, Sephis took a hit there.
Doesn't really want to go for that rocket jump. I don't think he wants to take the almost guaranteed rail if Sephis was lying in wait.
Now this is going to be a bit of a different change of pace for the 1v1 though. He's gone from Ranger and Nyx that have those good defensive abilities. Oh no! Dual wield.
Oh no. He's got to watch out. He's got to watch out.
Oh! And there we go. That swift rail. Sephis, as soon as he popped that dual wield, was dedicated until the kill. And he got it, and Hell straight away. That was unfortunate. I mean, he started such a good comeback as well. He got so close. He did so much work, but it just came down to that last final fight.
He went for the dire orb, and I believe it must have been a dual wield on reaction to seeing the dire orb as well. Well, if he's going to push here, he's either going to teleport to the dire orb and start fighting me then, of which my dual wield would chew it up. He might have thrown the dual wield, expecting me to look that way, and then he'll come in through the doorway and try and get a free rail or a free rocket or something like that. Or he's going to run away. He took the read to go in for the dual wield at the last minute. The read was successful. Unfortunately, Hell went right into his hands, but that could have been an amazing comeback, and Hell played really well throughout this entire series. It's just unfortunate that a couple of bad calls here and there, I think, really cost it. I think the big mistake was on this first map, unfortunately, where Hell actually had the complete advantage, and there was a few seconds left. He opted to, right here actually, he opted to maybe bait. He tried to take the heavy armor and catch Ranger as he reappeared.
He was like clearly going for the heavy armor in that situation. It's just unfortunate that the dire orb, the explosion still was able to hit him, and that kind of started that downward spiral that ended on that map. I mean, Hell
detonated before the heavy armor appeared.
Hell had some moments of absolute greatness in that series, and unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. I was really, just biasly pulling through for him to make that comeback at the end, because after losing his first 2 champions so quickly, it looked like a tall order for him to make that comeback, and he just got so close, but it came down to one hit on that rail, and that's what it took.